Picture this. You're exhausted, staring at a screen at 3:42 in the morning. You're on camera. One slip, one nod of your head. You're gone. That's exactly what happened to my coworker. But what came next? They never saw coming. If you've ever worked a job where you were treated like a cog in a machine, or dreamt of standing up to toxic power, this one's for you. This is the story of how surveillance culture turned into sweet, poetic revenge. I used to think the worst part of a job was the low pay or the endless hours. The worst part is being treated like you're not human. My previous job, remote tech support for a third-party vendor. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the catch: they had this brilliant idea that would maximize productivity. They made us stay on a Zoom-like call for the entire 8-hour shift. Cameras on, mics muted. You couldn't even yawn without wondering if HR saw it, and watching us the whole time. One specific HR replets, call her Tanya, a 30-something corporate android with a permanent judgmental smirk. She never spoke, just sat there, like a productivity owl, waiting to swoop down if your eyes stayed closed too long. It was like some twisted episode of Black Mirror. Oh, and the shift timing, midnight to 8:20 a.m. That 20 minutes, an unpaid mandatory break that wasn't counted in our total hours. Technically illegal where I'm from, but they buried it in the contract under international standards. So yeah, we were already angry, already exhausted, but held on because jobs were scarce and bills didn't wait. Soft-spoken, loved black coffee and indie rock. We'd bonded in private chats, venting about the job. One night, during an especially slow shift, Marco's screen glitched for a moment. Then it happened. Straight up toppled over mid-video. Everyone froze. Seconds later, Tanya's box lit up. She clicked on Marco's name, pulled him into a private breakout room. 5 minutes passed, then 10. She returned, expressionless. Marco will be taking the rest of the day off, she said. The next morning, his name was gone from our dashboard. Terminated. Just like that. No warning, he was just tired. He'd worked back-to-back nights, covering for another guy. But in Tanya's eyes, it was just another risk to productivity. Something inside me snapped. This wasn't a workplace. It was a virtual prison. So I made a decision. If they were going to treat us like surveillance subjects, I was going to turn the cameras on them. The plan: I didn't do anything reckless. Not at first. I was methodical, patient. Every day after my shift, I took notes. Time-stamped moments Tanya stepped away from her screen when she yawned or looked distracted, when she ignored violations by her favorite employees. Internal company policies versus actual implementation. Over weeks, I created a timeline of hypocrisy and abuse, but I needed more. So I created a burner email and started reaching out to exemplees on LinkedIn. Many had stories eerily similar to Marco Sumwar's. I asked if they'd be willing to share anonymously. They agreed. Go public but carefully. I didn't want a lawsuit, so I turned everything into a long form. Inside corporate surveillance, complete with documentation. Anonymized interviews and data breakdowns. Then I posted it on social media. The fallout within 48 hours. The post was trending in multiple countries. People were horrified, angry, sharing their own stories. News outlets reached out. Tech ethicists quoted it. Labor rights groups started tagging the company. They tried damage control, but it was too late. 3 things happened next. Tanya was placed on administrative leave, pending investigation. They reached out to apologize and offered him a severance. I resigned the very next day. but not before forwarding the entire case file to labor regulators. Turns out, a month later, the company made headlines again, but not the good kind. A class action lawsuit was filed by over 40 former employees. Regulators fined them for labor violations. She's no longer working in HR. Last I checked, she was reposting resume tips on Instagram. Irony's delicious. And me. I turned mine into a full-time gig. I now run a YouTube channel and blog that investigates corporate abuses and workplace horror stories, from surveillance victim to whistleblowing warrior. All because Marco fell off a chair and I finally had enough. Sometimes, the biggest revolutions start with the smallest moments. A fall from a chair. A camera that's always on. But when people rise together, even the most powerful systems can fall. Justice doesn't always wear a robe. Sometimes, it wears pajamas on a night shift. If this story fired you up, hit that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping workplace justice stories. And tell me in the comments what's the worst job surveillance tactic you've ever seen. Until next time, keep your camera off and your standards high.